Hello, everyone. I'm Zane Daniel. I'm a Hathor energy healer, and I am the director and the founder of the Higher Self Expo, which is a metaphysical online only conference with speakers, light workers, healers, channels, and people who are working hands on to make the world uh, a better place, moving from third dimension to fourth to fifth. And with me today is Jamie Joyce. Hi, Jamie.
Hello.
And we're very excited to have her here, and she's going to introduce herself in a second. But before she does, if you are unfamiliar with the Higher Self Expo and you'd like to know a lot more about it, well, why wouldn't you? You can go ahead and jump on higherselfexpo.com to register and learn more about all the speakers and our schedule and so many other things. So I highly recommend that you do that. And because this particular conference is envisioning our 5D society, which is, for those who aren't necessarily familiar with a 5D society, this is a society that is dominated by unconditional love as the main emotion, rather than fear, which is, of course, our third dimensional society is dominated by fear. So what's really fun about this is that in most metaphysical conferences, you generally have speakers who are speaking about like astrology or healing or channeling. But this one is going to be all of that, as well as people who are working hands-on to try to transform our society into a much better one. And that's why I'm so excited to have Jamie here, because that is precisely what she's doing. So, Jamie, could you give us a little backstory as to who you are and what you're excited about, what you're working on right now?
Of course. So first off, hello, everyone. My name is Jamie Joyce. I have a background in nonprofit executive work. And so some of the work that I've done is very highly aligned with many of you who also want to make the world a better place. I come from a background in international sustainable development. So I worked with an NGO in over 30 countries to help bring the United Nations SDGs to realization. That meant building schools, bringing clean water, clean energy, replanting forests, and helping little girls go back to school as well. Many different local projects, working with local leaders all around the world. But over time, I realized that some of the root of our most serious, persistent social conflicts actually has to do with information and communication. So I left my work in international sustainable development and instead founded a technology company that enabled us to start creating the types of protocols and technologies to enable us to communicate as one. So the work that I'm going to be talking about during the Higher Self Expo is about upgrading social communication, because social media has scaled up our ability to communicate, but it's not really scaled up our ability to functionally communicate in order to find peaceful solutions to our most persistent conflicts. And so I'm going to be talking about the tools and the technology that my team and I are working on in order to enable society-wide functional communication so that we can work through our ideological conflicts. So I went from, boots on the ground, planting trees, to creating the newest high tech to help communicate and hopefully move and progress society a little bit further along so we don't have to keep arguing over the same problems over and over.
Right. Yeah. Amazing. And you summed it up so well. So a couple of the projects that you're working on, why don't you tell us about those?
Sure. So one of the projects and the main nonprofit organization that I'm working on currently is called the Society Library. The Society Library is a library of society's ideas, ideologies, and points of view, which means we're bringing together the contributions and expressions of people from all over the political and social spectrum and putting it in one place so people can start to see where others are coming from and get into the points of view of others. I imagine many of you understand the importance of being able to see it from someone else's side and really get into their point of view and understand why it is they believe that they do. And not just like the facts and figures that support what they believe, but also their emotions and experiences. So the library is about collecting these human experiences as well as collecting these human arguments and claims and evidence in order to understand problems and solutions from many points of view. Now, the Society Library is supported by a few other projects. One is called the Internet Government, and I've gotten a little feedback that may not be the best name, but that's okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean governing the internet. What it means is creating a system of representation of all points of view in a way to create policies that look for win-win legislative solutions. So working within the institutions we currently have, the institution of government, various agencies, et cetera, using the existing protocols to create change, such as submitting legislation or creating policy, but in a new way that doesn't rely on convincing politicians that your point of view is valid. Instead, it's a technology that draws in everyone's contributions, parses through that content, and looks for win-win policy solutions. How can we move forward, knowing that people disagree, but help to solve problems anyway? And then, of course, we have smaller projects called the Great American Debate and COVID Convo, which are specifically about climate change conversations and COVID-19 conversations, bringing together all points of view so everyone can get on the same page and see, why do people believe different things about these really complex social problems? So those are our projects, and I hope you'll learn more.
Yeah, and I love your tagline for the internet government, right? What's the tagline?
Oh, it's been a while since I've looked at it.
Well, it's government without politicians, right?
Right. So politics without politicians. And
Right.
it's a non-governmental, non-partisan nonprofit.
Right.
That's a system of representation of ideas. Yeah.
That's awesome. Wow. Well, we're so happy to have you with us. And also, I see at the bottom here, you have your web address, jamiejoyce.com. If somebody were to jump on that, what would they find?
Yeah, so my website is simple, but it has links to everything that you need to know about me. It has links to past projects if you would like to support the sustainable development work I've done in the past. It links to nonprofits that I sit on the board of, and then links to the Society Library, the Internet Government, and other projects as well.
And so, ideal action from people that are watching you, what kind of action would you want them to take to either assist you or to assist in your mission?
Fantastic question. So we get solicitations to volunteer and support us from all over the world, and we absolutely welcome that. We've got training programs. So if you would like to approach us to volunteer, there's many different ways that you can volunteer. There's analysis positions that we can train people for, but there's also small little ways to help, such as just liking us on social media pages, resharing some of our communications, and getting to know us a little bit, so that when people talk about the problem of too much information and not everyone being on the same page, you can send them our way.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you again, Jamie. I'm so pleased to have you today with us. And then in 1 week from today, giving your presentation. I'm excited to see it. And I know our audience is really going to enjoy it too.
Thank you so much for the invitation, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Jamie. Well, have yourself a wonderful Sunday, and we will see you in a week.
Excellent. Cheers, everybody.